The war that began on February 28, 2026, was supposed to be about nuclear facilities and military installations, precision strikes, decapitation operations against a regime. The assassination of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was controversial enough a direct hit on the spiritual and political leader of 89 million people. But the United States and Israel calculated that removing the head of the snake would paralyze the body. They were wrong. What followed was not a conventional war. It was a chain reaction, and the next link is aimed directly at the family of the American president. The first sign arrived on a quiet spring afternoon, May 22, 2026. Intelligence agencies picked up chatter about an Iraqi national named Mohammed Bakr Saad Dawood al-Saadi, an IRGC-trained operative. His target, Ivanka Trump, daughter of the President of the United States. His motive was written in blood and fire. After Qasem was killed, one source reported, he went around telling people, "We need to kill Ivanka to burn down the house of Trump the way he burned down our house." The message was clear. This was not a geopolitical calculation. This was personal. The assassination of Qasem Soleimani in 2020 had opened a wound that never healed. The 2026 strikes, the killing of Khamenei, the bombing of IRGC command centers, had turned that wound into an open artery, and the IRGC, the most powerful institution in a leaderless Iran, decided that the rules of engagement no longer applied. The Ivanka plot was disrupted. The suspect was identified, tracked, neutralized. But the intelligence community did not celebrate. They knew a pattern when they saw one. The second sign came on July 9, 2026. Israel's Mossad shared intelligence with Washington. The message was short and devastating. Iran has hatched a fresh plot to assassinate President Donald Trump. This was not speculative chatter. This was a specific, actionable plan. The WSJ, CNN, and France 24 all confirmed it within hours. Israel had intercepted communications, run sources, pieced together the architecture of a plot that went beyond revenge. It was doctrine. The IRGC had established a manual, a structured, documented protocol for targeting the Trump family. Not a single operation, a campaign. The manual specified targets, methods, timelines, and fallback options. The first phase, Ivanka. The second phase, Trump himself. The third phase, anyone who bore the Trump name. This was no longer a war between states. This was a blood feud dressed in military uniform. 6 days later, Donald Trump addressed the nation. He stood before cameras with a look that the world had seen before, the coiled tension of a man who has been attacked and is calculating his response. "I may try to wipe out Iran's Revolutionary Guards," he said. "Not consider, not evaluate, wipe out." The IRGC is not a military unit. It is a state within a state, an economic empire, a paramilitary force, a religious police, a terrorist network, and the backbone of the Islamic Republic. 120,000 armed men, a shadow government, and Trump had just declared its extinction as a strategic objective. The IRGC's response came not through diplomats or spokesmen. It came through the manual. A copy of the operational framework, the one targeting his family, was leaked to media aligned with Iranian interests. It was a message. We have a plan. We are not afraid to use it, and we are not bound by your rules. Here is what the manual reveals. The IRGC has reorganized after the death of Khamenei. Power has not dispersed. It has consolidated within the Guard's upper command. And that command has concluded that Iran cannot win a conventional war against the United States. It cannot match American air power. It cannot defend its skies. It cannot protect its infrastructure. But it can turn the war personal. The manual codifies the strategy. Target the decision makers. Target their families. Target their sense of security. The IRGC has operatives in dozens of countries. It has proxies in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, and Afghanistan. It has a network built over 40 years for exactly this purpose: asymmetric retaliation against a superior conventional enemy. And for the first time in its history, that network has been activated not against military bases or naval vessels, but against the bloodline of the American commander-in-chief. The response from the White House was immediate. Secret Service coverage for the Trump family was expanded to wartime levels. Intelligence sharing with Israel was accelerated. And on July 16th, Trump escalated his rhetoric further. "The Revolutionary Guard is a terrorist organization. I will treat it as one. And when this war is over, there will be no Revolutionary Guard." But the question that keeps intelligence analysts awake at night is not whether the manual exists. It is whether every copy has been found. The Ivanka plot was disrupted. The Trump plot was intercepted. But a manual, by its nature, is designed to be read by many hands. And in the underground networks of the IRGC, there are hands the United States has not yet identified. This is what crossing the line actually looks like. For 5 months, the Iran war followed a grim but predictable logic: airstrikes, retaliation, missile exchanges, base attacks, economic warfare. Both sides observed unwritten boundaries: military targets, infrastructure, strategic assets. The line held barely. The manual destroyed that line. Targeting the family of a sitting president is not escalation, it is transformation. It changes the nature of the conflict from a war of policy to a war of survival. It tells every American president who follows Trump that their family is a legitimate target in any future conflict. It tells every IRGC commander that the United States will now treat the Guard not as a military force entitled to the protections of war, but as a criminal organization whose members can be hunted anywhere. The Israeli intelligence assessment shared with the U.S. on July 9th concluded with a warning: Iran has crossed a threshold. They will not uncross it. That warning has proven prophetic. On July 27th, pro-IRGC channels released a statement claiming that a third phase of the manual existed, one targeting former Trump administration officials who participated in the Soleimani strike. The list, they claimed, included names the public had never seen. This is where the story stands on July 29th, 2026. A war that began with precision strikes against a regime has devolved into a personal vendetta between a president and a paramilitary force that refuses to die. The manual exists. The plots are real. The security apparatus of the United States is operating at a level of alert not seen since the weeks after September 11th, 2001. And across the Atlantic, a new British Prime Minister who just authorized continued use of his country's bases for American strikes against Iran is learning a harsh lesson. When you sign on to a war, you sign on to everything the war produces, including the retaliation, including the escalation, including the moment when the enemy stops aiming at your soldiers and starts aiming at your leader's children. The IRGC's manual did not create this crisis. It simply put it on paper so that no one could claim they did not know what they were signing up for.